Welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Dr. Jorge Valdes, and today I'm very, very excited. It's because in light of everything that's happening in this world, and we see people talking about defund the police, and we see people saying, oh, the police is this. And in the past, I saw many articles about people saying the FBI is corrupt because it's a bad person or it's a bad agent. And I've always defended them in reality because, like I say to people, I thank God that 3 of my closest friends are the agents that spent their lifetime to put me away forever. Their job was really to catch me. My job was not to get caught. It was purely business. But when I was caught, it was also by God's grace that they were all Christian. And if I was able to do a lot of my studies in prison was because one of those agents would bring me the books so that I could do and study towards my bachelor's and then my master's. So today I have the honor of interviewing a brother of mine, David Thompson. I've known him now we met 20 years ago.
Close to 40.
40 years ago. Well, yeah.
Oh, is it? 79?
We met 40 years ago in a different capacity. I'll let David give you just a little background on him. And he was an undercover agent in my case in Macon, Georgia. But then we met 20 years later at a church here in Wheaton.
Church.
When I had just written my book and I was talking. And then we reconnected a couple of months ago, and I was very, very excited because it's just to see how God works and how God can do great things to great people. And there is a lot of committed men and women of God that are out there risking their lives to keep us safe and to make America the country that we love and that we have cherished. And to me, it drives me crazy to see, especially in communities of color that are where cops are needed more than ever. Is the answer that we have is, well, get rid of all the cops. Listen, there's bad cops, there's good cops, there's bad people at the grocery store, but we don't stop going to the grocery store. But we need more training and we need to do a lot more things. But if it isn't for police officers that leave their home every day and risk not coming home to their families, we wouldn't be safe. So, but I had this chance to talk to my friend David and to talk about some of the old stories in the past. And David, you can just give us a quick little background of...
It's Tom. You're thinking of David, your buddy in Orlando.
Yeah, Tom Thompson, I'm sorry. And I keep thinking of Dave Bora, who was the agent in Florida who spent all those years. I guess he chased me for so long that his name kept ingrained. But Tom, if you can give him a little background about, how long, when were you in the DA and what was your role?
Well, I come on in 1968, in Chicago. And I was in Chicago for years, and then I got transferred. I was in charge of O'Hare Airport for a while. And prior to that, I was in Gary, Indiana, working in Gary, Indiana for 3 years, set up the office there. Mostly at that time, it was crime going on with a lot of murders going on and so forth, dope peddlers. But from there, I went in late 79. That's when you were in Macon. Yeah. And I came down to Georgia. I got transferred down to Georgia. And officially, I was there from January of 1980 until about January of 1985. But when I was in Atlanta, you were in Macon. Right. And that's when I first heard about you. Because I went down there initially and got involved with a co-defendant of yours, as you know, Harold Rosenthal. And I was working on a fella in Colombia, which I'm recently learned that you were tied up with Manuel Garces Gonzalez. Yeah. He was the main guy I was after out of Colombia, out of Medellin.
Yeah, he was my godfather. He's the one that brought me up.
That guy was your main guy. I didn't know at the time. But you were in Macon, and I communicated you on the phone, I think, at that time. You were at the Marshal Service, I think you called me. But I worked on Harold, and then that involved several co-defendants out of New York, Miami, all over the place. But when we were done, we got about 10.5 tons. And that was the first time that we were getting a lot of loads coming. I think we went up 10.5 tons, like I say, of cocaine. But at the same time, I wanted to talk to you because I knew you knew where Harold, because of your Panama case and your crash down there. In fact, I knew the agent that was down there also. I went to school with him.
Cedillo.
Pardon me?
Was Agent Cedillo?
Yeah, Cedillo. Yeah, I was in basic school.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and I never mentioned that to you, but yeah, I know he was on part of the interview you guys had, and I know you guys had a rough interview, put it that way. But I know Art Cedillo. I haven't seen him in all these years.
I think he died. The last thing I heard, he had died.
Did he?
Yeah, and Arcedillo was the guy that when we were arrested in Chiriquí, which is a little Providence, outside of David, Panama, and then we were taken to Panama City, and I had already bribed the Attorney General, and he said to me, look, you're going to go in front of the DEA, and we got to make it look good for them, and because at that time, Noriega was working with the DEA, and also he was working with the cartel. Yeah, working both sides.
Right.
So he said, well, you're going to go in front of Cedillo, and they're going to just rough you up a little bit and make it look good. Well, it was a little more than roughing it up.
A little more rough, yeah.
Now, the interesting thing was Cedillo was not involved in the tortures or roughing us up, but he was the man behind ordering all that. I saw him again in Macon, and I'm sure that when he came for the trial, because he was in Macon.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he came for the trial. And but I never saw him again, and I think about maybe 8 years ago, someone told me, might have been David Bora, that he had heard that he had died.
Oh, Harold died about 3 years ago.
And Harold died 3 years ago. You know, the interesting thing with Harold was I had only met him 3 months when we got arrested.
Is that right?
Through Mel Kessler, which I'm sure that you know, the attorney, Mel Kessler.
Oh, yeah, the attorney.
Yeah, who was the guy that all along I didn't realize was telling on me. Because when I come to Miami in '79 and I'm like, I don't have a traffic ticket. I'm president of the Young Republican Party in the state of Florida. I work for the Federal Reserve Bank, and all of a sudden the government's asking for $5 million bail. Well, I ended up finding out through Freedom of Information, like 8 years later.
About Kessler.
Kessler was telling on me. And he was like my brother. He was like my best friend, but he was crooked as crooked come. And as a result of that, to get out of a case, he ended up selling me out. Well, he's the one that introduced Harold to me, and he was making a cut in all of the cocaine. So they couldn't, when I brought to Miami, they couldn't indict me in those. They took it in front of the grand jury 5 times in Middle District of Florida, Southern District, and Northern District, and they won't. And then Judge Wilbur Owen.
Oh, yeah, tough one.
Yeah, tough judge. But
How to make it.
yeah, later on when I changed my life, he was really good to me. He was gracious.
Oh, well.
But he was straight, man. He didn't bullshit one bit, and I respected that, you know.
Mel Kessler did.
Oh no, Mel Kessler was the scum of the earth.
He had a bad reputation in Atlanta.
Thank you for visiting the channel. If you have enjoyed the content today, please subscribe to the channel and also go to my webpage, www.jorgevaldezphd.com. If you join our community, we will send you a copy of our book. God bless.